Eric Anders, I did think Jocko won that. Obviously, he did. Eric Anders, I think he's just got some things he's got to work on to be a complete mixed martial artist. Big fan of Danny Ige, Edson Barboza. I didn't come away from that fight saying, yeah, Edson won it, and Ige got the decision. And, I think it may have been the right one. If I'm going to be honest. So, and then that Claudia Gagelia, Angela Hill, I did think Angela did win that fight. But, I'm not a judge. I thought she won that fight. We'll see. And it looks like next week is May 30th. And next week, I think we get Tyron Woodley, Gilbert Burns, location to be determined. Anyone on the Periscope, this is your last shot to comment. And if not, I am out of here until next week. So, shalom.
Please remember to support the podcast by visiting the affiliate links on AaronSaysWhat.com.
Now that you are ready to make those MMA bets, go place them right here on RTFSportsNetwork.com radio.
The snow is melting and it's starting to warm.
Is this for the new commercial?
This is the new commercial. We're recording. Why is it you always cut me off?
Guys, calm down. Let's just start it over.
It's too late. We have to start our show, which is Twist, the weekend sports talk, where you can hear banter like this with sports and interviews. Hear us on the RTF Sports Network, Mondays at 8 Eastern.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
Are you ready? I said, are you ready? You're rocking with the heavyweight champs of sports talk.
Don't act like you're not impressed.
Brandon Way and Brandon Rudolph.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
Tune in to Opinionated Facts, Tuesdays at 6 p.m. on the RTF Sports Network. And we're back again every Sunday at 12 noon on Facebook Live.
Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Only on the Opinionated Facts Facebook page, presented by TCP Network.
What's up, y'all? You know who it is. It's your boy Dylan from On and Off the Field with Durf and Dylan. So I'm just coming to let you know, on the RTF Sports Network, this show will now be live from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays. If you go to rtfsportsnetwork.com, you can listen to the show live from there and on our social media platforms on Facebook and Instagram. It's going to be an amazing show that is all about the fans. Also, when you go to rtfsportsnetwork.com, make sure to vote for On and Off the Field as the show of the month for April. If we win that, money is going to charity. You can count on that.
Calling all fishermen. Do you love to fish? Are you stuck inside? No, you're not. Because join us right here on the RTFSportsNetwork.com radio network with Red Beard Bass. Coming up next.
All right, here we go. Welcome to the first episode of Green Bay Greg, which is a satellite show off of in the RTF network, off of our Twist show. And one of the benefits that I have on my show is I go last. We have two other shows with my co-hosts, Mike on the mic and Benzi's Bit. Matthew went earlier today, did a great job. And then Mike just went a little while ago, and I'm going last. And like I said, one of the benefits of going last is that I get to kind of correct them on all their mistakes. And trust me, I spend way too much time preparing 20 some odd minutes of show because I could spend 23 minutes correcting all of their BS. So a little bit about me, like Matt said, like Mike said, this gives all of our RTF and all of our Twist viewers great opportunity to get to know each and every one of us individually. And here we go. I'm already looking at it. It's already got up. Might as well just throw it up there. See, Mike's already ready to chime in, which I'm a minute 35 into the show. Kind of thought it would take about a minute 34 less for Mike to start chiming in. So a little bit about me. I am 44 years old. I have an 11-year-old daughter, a 9-year-old son. I am divorced. And if this Corona thing lasts any longer, I will be living in a van down by the river. I did grow up in Wisconsin. I grew up just outside of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in Waukesha, Wisconsin. I'm a diehard Packer fan, diehard Bucks fan. I did grow up, though, really idolizing the Twins, the Minnesota Twins. I am a Brewers fan as well. However, Kirby Puckett was my hero. And growing up, my dad just kind of went with it. I thought when I was about 5 years old, they named a team after me because I do have a twin brother. So that was one of the things that, just kind of made me a little more unique than a lot of my family and friends, as I did like the Twins. 17 years ago, I moved up to Minnesota, held on to my fan allegiance. In fact, I was either loved or hated, depending on who you were. Being a Wisconsin sports fan, living in the land of 10,000 excuses for not winning a Super Bowl. And just kind of went with it. It became, more of my personality, more of my ideal. And then about 2.5 years ago, I met Mike, and one of the things that you'll learn about me is everything I do is intentional. The sweatshirt I'm wearing right now is the sweatshirt I wore the day I met Mike. Mike Get the Mics, the co-host, the guy whose picture is right behind my head. First thing he said to me when he saw me wearing this sweatshirt was, "Oh, great, an effing Green Bay fan." Yes, I did keep the expletives out for the sake of twist. They asked us to keep down the expletives. But it kind of built into – Mike is actually the one who gave me the nickname Green Bay Greg. My last name is Bauman, which makes sense, so GBG. But it kind of became like, more of my calling card. Being a Green Bay fan, Packer fan, Wisconsin sports fan, also Badgers, something that I just kind of went with and became even more passionate about. On a side note, the only real pet peeve I have when it comes to sports and sports talk is ignorant views. I don't care who you think is the greatest this or the best that, or the greatest team, the greatest player, whatever, and we'll get into that. My only view is I hate ignorance. Don't tell me your view on something and your reason for it is because I said so, or because it's just what I think. Give me some reasons behind it. Give me some logic. If you think that LeBron is the best, great. If you think MJ is the best, great. If you think Kobe's the best, great. But don't tell me the reason is because I'm an idiot. Give me some logic. Give me some reasons. We'll get into it. As a background, I did go to school. I am a graduate of the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee with a degree in history. My emphasis are 20th century American history and the history of religion. Another thing I'll get into. One other thing that's going to make this show, this little segment a little more unique than most, I'm not just going to talk about sports. I'm going to tell you how I feel about pretty much anything under the sun. So buckle up, Buttercup. Here we go. First thing I want to talk about is probably the one thing that anyone really thinks that I give a damn about, and that's Jordan Love getting drafted to the Green Bay Packers. Here's the thing. The Packers are the only team, if you make the assumption, and I think it's a pretty safe assumption, if you make the assumption that Aaron Rodgers one day will be in the Hall of Fame, the Green Bay Packers are the only franchise to win Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks who will all be in the Hall of Fame. They did it with Bart Starr, they did it with Brett Favre, and they did it with Aaron Rodgers. Now, most people think that the whole idea of drafting Aaron Rodgers in the first round when Brett Favre was still healthy, able-bodied, and playing was unique for any team at the time. And yeah, it wasn't unheard of, but it was pretty unique. Now, keep in mind, something that most people might not realize, when the Packers picked up Brett Favre in the early 90s, 1992, they traded a first-round draft pick for him. He was drafted at the beginning of the second round in the year prior by the Atlanta Falcons. Packers give up their first-round draft pick to get him. Great. Here's the thing that most people don't understand. The quarterback they had at the time was a quarterback by the name of Don Majkowski, who was a Pro Bowler. He was the fans in Wisconsin, Green Bay fans all over used to refer to him as the Magic Man because his name was spelled Majikowski. By the way, that was from memory. That's having a Polish mom. That's how you remember how to spell those names. They referred to him as the Magic Man. He was a Pro Bowler. He did take the Packers to the playoffs. The Packers at that time felt they needed a backup, and they were willing to take a chance on this quarterback out of Mississippi known as Brett Favre. So it turned out to be a 20-year great gamble. So they did it again. Now, granted, there was different management along the way, different personnel that did that. Now they're doing it again. Did they do it too soon? Possibly. But the Packers would be the only team in the history of football to be able to make what is close to a 35, possibly 40-year transition from one quarterback to another, that is of Pro Bowl caliber. A lot of other teams have a lag in there. Andrew Luck did, take the baton from Peyton Manning after a crappy year, and they needed to have the first overall pick to get it. Joe Montana to Steve Young. Steve Young was drafted by played Canadian football, played for the Buccaneers. It is hard to do. The only team that I could come up with in recent memory that had a Super Bowl caliber quarterback that went to another Super Bowl caliber quarterback who were both drafted was Drew Bledsoe, who played in a Super Bowl against the Packers that went right to Tom Brady. It's a hard thing to do. You got to give teams credit who are able to roll the dice and take those chances. Now, it doesn't happen often. I'm not saying it's going to happen with Jordan Love, but it's worth a risk. Now, moving on to the next, smooth transition. How are the Packers going to do this year? Big thing that we talk about on Twist is, right now, not a lot of sports going on. So what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about, what teams did in the draft to help their team out for the 2020 season. Let's make the assumption that the team's going to go and, the season's going to go on as it should. I'm going to make that assumption just because there's too much money involved. What did the Packers do in the draft to help out their 2020 campaign? I'll be the first to admit, not a lot on paper. They did some work in free agency. They picked up on the middle linebacker. They picked up what, I'll be honest, maybe third level wide receiver. They already have Devontae Adams. They picked up Funchess, not the greatest. They didn't do anything in the draft. However, when was the last time a team won the Super Bowl where you look back and said, wow, that previous year's draft is what really put them over the top? No, what happens with that is players developing from the year or two prior that they did draft in, the prior, so 2-3 years earlier, plus free agency pickups. The Packers are in a win now mode. Now, granted, I'll argue with anybody that a lot of these picks were questionable. Taking A.J. Dillon in the second round, once again, questionable. They're going to be a run-first team. I am willing to sit back and take a look and wait and see what happens. However, they were 13-3. There was only one team in the NFL that was head and shoulders above them. That was obviously the 49ers. Good for them. It was a great season that they had, and in 13-3. Now, did they do enough in free agency, in the draft, in studying film to be able to beat the 49ers? We'll find out. Right now, I'm willing to give them a chance. Now, making a transition. I know that Mike got to go do his show here a few minutes ago. Matt did his earlier, and like I said, I like to correct everyone. Matt talked about how my show is going to be a little more, let's just call it a little more Zen-like, a little more deep thought. Matt actually mentioned that I might wear my cowboy hat for the show. Matt, when you watch this, ask yourself this question. If it's a nice sunny day outside and you own a Lamborghini, are you going to keep it in the